Assalamualaikum and a very good day I wish to Dr. Kok Bun Xiong and my fellow friends. Today I'm going to present my proposal which is the development of high order thinking skills question to support students creative thinking skills in mathematics education for task 2 of MTES 3263 Fundamentals of Mathematics Educational Research. So this is my content which is consists of introduction, literature review, and the last one is research methodology. So, the background of the study in modern education, especially in mathematics teaching, there is a critical need to develop high order thinking skills in students. Traditionally, mathematics education focused on memorization and procedural fluency, but there is now a shift towards nurturing creative thinking. Educators are realizing the importance of fostering creative intellect and are working on innovative methods to integrate HOTS into the educational framework. Next is the problem of the statement of the study is in the realm of mathematics education, there is a recognized gap in nurturing students' creative thinking skills as traditional teaching methods tend to focus on algorithmic problem solving. This gap hampers students' ability to tackle real world mathematical problems with innovation and adaptability. To address this challenge, there is a pressing need to develop and incorporate high order thinking skills questions aimed at enhancing students' creative abilities in mathematics education. Next is purpose of the study, which is this study aims to investigate the effectiveness of creating hot questions to enhance students' creative thinking in mathematics education. The research objective include exploring theoretical frameworks for formulating these questions, evaluating their impact on students' creative cognition, and assessing the long-term sustainability of integrating them into pedagogy. The research questions focus on theoretical foundations, students' engagement with these questions, and the lasting effect of their incorporation. Incorporation. The hypothesis suggests that integrating high order thinking skills questions will improve students' problem solving, ideation, and conceptual understanding, fostering their development as proficient mathematicians and creative thinkers. Next is the scope and limitation of the study. This study explores the development of high order thinking skills questions to enhance students' creative thinking in mathematics education. It examines theoretical frameworks and practical strategies for integrating these questions into the curriculum. While comprehensive, the studies focus on mathematics education limits, generalizability to other disciplines. Contextual factor and logistical constraint may influence the effectiveness of outcomes of the study. Despite limitations, the study aims to provide valuable insights into fostering creative thinking skills in mathematics education. Next is significance of the study, which is this study furnishes innovative methodologies to enhance mathematics education by developing hot questions. It aims to revolutionize pedagogical practices and cultivate adept problem solvers and critical thinkers. By equipping students with cognitive tools for mathematical inquiry, it enhances academic achievement and prepares them for the evolving workforce. The findings could inform educational policy and empower educators to enact transformative change in nurturing creative intellect. And this is the operational definition of terms of this study, which is the first one is high order thinking skills, which is HOTS. that refer to cognitive abilities encompassing critical thinking, problem solving, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, which necessitate deeper levels of cognitive engagement and intellectual processing. And the second one is creative thinking skills, which is denotes the capacity for originality, fluency, flexibility, and elaboration in generating novel ideas, approaches, and solutions to problems within the realm of mathematics education. And the last one is the definitions of mathematics education, which is pertains to the systematic process of teaching and learning mathematical concepts, principles, and methodologies, encompassing both formal instructional settings and informal learning environment. So next is chapter 2. This is the introduction for chapter 2, which is literature review. Chapter 2 provides an overview of prior research relevant to the study's objective. It delves into theoretical concepts and past studies, aiming to situate the current research within the broader scholarly context. The chapter explores the application and impact of Hodge questions in mathematics education, emphasizing their role in fostering critical thinking and problem solving abilities. It also examines the relationship between people's creative thinking and the utilization of arts in mathematics education, highlighting the symbiotic nature of this relationship in enhancing students' mathematical abilities and problem solving skills. So this is the research theory of this study, which is related with hot questions and creative thinking. So the first one is Bloom's taxonomy, which is developed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956, outlines 6 levels of cognitive learning from basic to complex. These levels aid in fostering hot and creative thinking among students. Research confirms that integrating Bloom's taxonomy into teaching enhances learning outcomes by promoting critical thinking and creativity. Overall, it serves as a valuable framework for designing activities and assessment that prepare students for the challenges of the modern world. And the second one is Torrance creativity theory, which is created by E. Paul Torrance in 1966, assess creativity and higher order thinking skills in students. They evaluate divergent thinking and problem solving across various scales. Despite some criticisms, the TTCT is widely used and valued for its comprehensive approach. It helps identify gifted individuals, predict achievements, and understand the development of creative abilities over time. Make it a valuable tool for research and educators aiming to foster creativity and critical thinking. And the last one is Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory. Lev Vygotsky's Lev Vygotsky's sociocultural theory (SCT) highlights the impact of social and cultural influences on cognitive development, em- empha- emphasizing social interaction, cultural tools, and language. SCT introduced concepts like the zone of proximal development (ZPD) and the more knowledge other MKO, although SCT faces criticism for its lack of specific hypotheses and cultural universality, it remains valuable in education, promoting collaborative learning and high order thinking skills. So, this is the findings of the previous study, which is related to um, this study. And the first one is developing mathematical higher order thinking skills of senior high school students, which is created by Apino and Retnawati in 2016, which is investigates instructional intervention Effectiveness in enhancing mathematical higher order thinking skills among senior high school students. Utilize problem-based learning, collaborative group work, and real-world application, and significant improvements in students' critical thinking skills post-intervention. And the second one is developing high-order thinking skills through problem-based learning in mathematics education by Garak et al. 2020, which is explores problem-based learning (PBL) efficacy in developing HOTS among secondary school students, utilize mixed method approach, which is quantitative and qualitative, and significant improvement in students' HOTS level post PBL implementation. And the last one is development of HOTS assessment instrument to improve students' mathematical creative thinking skills by Sari 2022, which is focused on creating and implementing assessment tools to enhance students' mathematical creative thinking skills through HOTS questions. It includes validation procedures like expert review and pilot testing and emphasize the importance of HOT assessment in mathematics education for promoting creative problem solving abilities. So this is the last chapter, which is chapter 3 about research methodologies. So the introduction of this chapter is this chapter describes the method used in this study. The parts discussed are study design, study place, study sample, study instrument, questionnaire item validity, reliability, pilot study, study variable, data collection method, data analysis method, study operational framework, and conclusion. Methodology outlines a systematic research journey through a systematic methodology process and strategy to obtain valid evidence through a specific method. So this is the research design, which is the form of this study is quantitative and qualitative study that use an experimental study design to collect data. This study used the pre-test and post-test design of the control group and the control group as shown in table 1. This study used a random sampling method involving a total of 60 respondents consisting 30 students for the experimental group and 30 students for the control group from an urban category school in Tuaran district. So, this study is suitable to be used to describe in depth of the effectiveness of the application of HOTS question in improving the students' creative thinking in mathematics education. So this is the table of research design, which is including pre-test and post-test, which is the experimental group receive intervention, which is application of HOTS questions, and the control group receive no intervention. So this is the sampling method. Students in Year 6 at 84 primary schools in Tuaran district make up the study population. Sampling is required because it involves a sizable population. Since the study is experimental, sampling is carried out using simple probability sampling, often known as random sampling. This is guarantee that in order for pupils to be chosen as research respondents, their degree of creative thinking in mathematics instruction may be accurately measured. However, it will not be possible to generalize the study's findings to all schools. Simple random sampling is used in this study to sample Year 6 maths pupils in the Tuaran district. There was only one Tuaran school included in this study. 60 year 6 children from one of the Tuaran district schools made up the sample. So this is the research instrument. I'm going to use three instruments. The first one is observations. The second one is questionnaire, and the third one is pre-test and post-test. So for the observation, the researcher will carry out the observation throughout the learning and facilitation process in the classroom. Observation can be carried out using a checklist that has been prepared according to regulations and requirements. So for this observation, I'll be going to prepare a checklist to observe the students. And the second one is questionnaires to gauge students' degree of creative thinking in mathematics education. A 3-point Likert scale questionnaire was selected. As the research tool, it was developed and adapted from a compilation of prior studies. There are two primary sections to this questionnaire, which is section A and section B. A 3-point Likert scale on the questionnaire, which is strongly disagree, not sure, agree. So for this questionnaire, I will prepare a questionnaire which is consists of section A and section B, and using a Likert scale, which is strongly disagree, not sure, and agree. And the last one is pre-test and post-test, which is students are given pre and post-test to gauge their level of creativity in mathematics education. The Year 6 of Mathematics Curriculum and Assessment Standards document, the SKP, is the basis for 5 questions types of on the pre and post test that involve mathematical solutions, and the post test is administered following intervention for both groups, whereas the pretest is administered at the start of the study to determine the efficacy of inquiry-based learning. The investigator gather the results of the two tests and makes a comparison between them. Means that this instrument will showing the difference between the group of using intervention and no intervention. So this is the conceptual framework based on figure 1, shows the conceptual framework of the development of hot questions to support students' creative thinking skills in mathematics education. The application of skills question hot questions in learning becomes independent variable because it is an intervention in the study. The learning method involves teachers and students as the main components involved in the effectiveness process of the study. Independent variable in quasi-experimental research can be manipulated or changed. In this study, the use of hard question will be given to the experimental group, while the control group will only use the traditional method, which is low and medium level questions. The study has a dependent variable, which is the level of creative thinking students in mathematics education. It will be determined based on the result of instrument evaluation, which is using questionnaires and observation using checklists. Therefore, with a proven increase in the application of hot question, it helps to increase the level of creative thinking of students in mathematics education. So this is the intervention procedure, which is this study used experimental research to explore how hot questions impact students' creative thinking in mathematics education. After pre-testing both groups, the experimental group received hot questions during teaching session, while the control group gets standard questions. The intervention lasts 1 hour. Post-testing and observation follow, with data analyzed afterward. So the pilot study is a pilot research including 60 Year 6 pupils was carried out of a Tuaran district school. 30 students, each from the experimental and control group, made up the sample. There was a pre-test for both groups. The control group used conventional teaching techniques, whereas the interventions experimental group applies hot question in worksheet tasks. Following the PTPC session, students are required to complete a post-test for 15 minutes, after which the researcher used a checklist to observe them. For the data analysis procedure, this study was conducted after obtaining permission from the school and the result for discussion with the teachers involved. The data collection procedure begins with the researcher giving a pretest to the experimental group and the control group. Then the researcher implemented the application of hot question in the worksheet. After finishing the lesson, the researcher gave a post-test within 15 minutes. Next, the researcher observed the students' creative thinking throughout the teaching and facilitation using a checklist. The same procedure was done to the control group, but it was different in the intervention part. That is, the teaching used was the traditional teaching method. The data collection process takes place in the different times. The result of the data collection will be analyzed according to the appropriate methodology based on the research questions and fulfilling the research hypothesis. So this is the data collection procedure, which is the data collection procedure for this research endeavor involve a comprehensive approach to collecting quantitative, qualitative data from a variety of sources, including pre-test and post-test assessments, questionnaires, and observation. This data collection method is designed to provide insight into the effectiveness of hot questions in supporting students' creative thinking skills in mathematics education. Before the intervention, students will undergo a pre-test assessment to establish a basic level of creative thinking skills and mathematics abilities. The pretest will include standardized assessment and tasks designed to measure various aspects of creative thinking, such as fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration. After the intervention period, students will complete a post-test assessment to assess changes in their creative thinking skills and maths performance. Similar to the pretest, the post-test will include standardized assessments and assignment aligned with the research objective. On the other hand, students will be asked to complete a questionnaire we designed to collect their perceptions, attitudes, and experiences regarding the implementation of hot question in mathematics education. The questionnaire will include items related to the importance of hot question, the perceived impact on creative thinking skills, and suggestions for improvement. Researcher will conduct classroom observation to document the implementation of host question in maths teaching. Observation will focus on student engagement, problem-solving approaches, and the overall classroom environment. A structured observation protocol will be used to ensure consistency and reliability in data collection. So this is the summary for this chapter, which is the research methodology for this study encompasses various components such as research design, sampling method, instrument, and so on. Employing a mixed method approach, the study utilized pre-test and post-test assessment alongside observation and questionnaire to evaluate the impact of hot question on students' creative thinking skills. Participants selected through simple random sampling from year 6. Students in 84 primary schools undergo intervention where the experimental group receive hot questions while the control group follows traditional teaching method. A pilot study was conducted to validate a procedure and data analyze combined statistical and qualitative techniques. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you.